And we are back for part two of this top 10 of 2023, where we left off with the Snow Serpent in place number 5. Incidentally, guys, if any of you know, when you use the regular camera app on the iPhone to take video, is there a way to pause the video uh, and resume filming? I couldn't figure out how to do that, so I had to download this thing called Movie Pro on my iPhone. And while Movie Pro is cool, it is not very accessible to blind people, and I hate how it just slows down like crazy after about 30 minutes of video. So if any of you know a way around that, please let me know. Also, if you any of you know of a way to join video on the iPhone or on the computer using an accessible software that blind people can use, please let me know. All right, moving on. From Storm Collectibles, we have from the Mortal Kombat line, Kano. Yeah, again, we saw this guy last week, so we don't have to linger too much on him. But hey, this one's really more like a placeholder because I am pretty confident to say that any Storm collectible figure would be on the top 10, right? Storm collectibles sell $100 figure. Like this guy, I believe, was $94, very close to that $100 mark. So is he worth it? Yeah. Like Storm collectible figures are expensive, but very rarely do they make you feel that you wasted your money. I can name a couple, but I'm not going to go there right now. But Kano here definitely makes it worth it because for 94, 95 bucks, if you can get him on sale, maybe you can get him for 60. Uh, you got a pretty good size guy with four knives, three energy effect, three different heads, I think three or four different heads, like, and a whole slew of different hand options, and a human heart for him to pull out of a victim's chest. This guy got so much stuff. Like what you see on him right now is just what I can fit on him. Um, and he is really well articulated, like most Storm collectible figures are. They are really well balanced, really well articulated. Uh, just overall a pretty decent brand if you want some relatively high-end action figures. So Kano more than um, deserved his place on number 4. I mean, honestly, if this was a character that I like even more, probably would have been higher up on the on the top 10. But I think number 4 is pretty fair for Kano. Coming up on number 3 of our top 10 action figure of 2023, we are getting up to the top 3, so it's going to be good. From the Four Horsemen Studio, you just know they have to be on this list. We have the Mask of the Red Death. Incidentally, if you are still looking for this figure, you can find it on our sponsored store on the Hidden Corner Finds. I believe they still are selling Mask of the Red Death, so you can find it there. This is a good figure. Not just the figure itself, although the figure itself is pretty cool. It has a very well articulated, desiccated, undead body under all these robes and cloak and shroud, and these things they're wired, like they are wired inside, so you can pose them like they're blowing in the wind, like that. And it comes with a dagger. Um, the mask is removable. I'm not going to do it now. If you want to see what it looks like without the mask, go check out my review of this guy. I did a full review last year. Um, I'm not going to take him out of his clothes either because that took a lot of work. Uh, Again, you want to see that? Go check out the full review of Mask of the Red Death. Uh, in addition to that, he comes with several different hand options, and the most impressive piece is this big grandfather clock. Like right here, it's taller than him. I bumping him over with the clock, but yeah, look how big the clock is. This clock is huge and it makes a gorgeous backdrop piece when you're doing figure photography. Uh, this clock you can even store things inside. You can take it apart. It comes in several pieces. Um, Top, bottom, this raven on the top come off as well. Okay, pretty cool. I believe the face of the clock. Yep, the face of the clock come off like this. Now you can see the mechanisms inside. It's just a really cool piece. Like and for something like this, usually you would have to pay like $20 plus on something like this alone, right? And then the mask of the Red Death come with this giant puddle of blood. Look how big this is. This is again, if I hold it next to him, this puddle of blood is like bigger than he is. Okay, that's another really cool stuff for your action figure photography. Okay, so the clock, the blood effect, and a really well made horror figure for 60 bucks. That's how much this guy cost, 60 bucks. Uh, he also came with a copy of Edgar Allan Poe's short story, The Mask of the Red Death. So, in addition to being a really nice figure, this figure is very educational because this is not an action superhero. This is not a G.I. Joe. This is literally, for those of us that read a lot, this is something that come out of the book we read, a story that we all recognize, and it comes with a copy of the story to get you into it. So you can almost say that this figure deserves the be among the top three, to be number three on the list, not only because he comes with such awesome items, but also because of the educational value in this figure. Now we are getting to the second place, the runner-up of our 2023 top 10 figure of the list, and I bring you from Berserker Studios' Greek god series, we have Hades, the god of the underworld. We saw him last week, and he is gorgeous. Like this guy almost made number one. Seriously, this is the first figure I ever got from Berserker Studio, and I am impressed. I'm like really impressed. He's articulated really, really well, and every single piece of armor can come off of his body. Every single piece of armor. Like you can literally have a naked Hades on your shelf if that is your thing. Now, it takes a lot of boiling the figure and heating it up and try not to break the joints because you got to pull off the arm and stuff like that. But if that's your thing, every piece of armor comes off. I'm not going to do that. I'm not interested in having a naked, muscular Greek god on my shelf. I think he looks just fine in his armor. All these flames on his armor, flames on his weapon, they come off as well. He comes with a great huge sword, a long Biden spear, Biden uh, pitchfork, not Biden president. Um, he comes with flame effect for his shoulder, flame for his upper arm, flame for the top of his helmet. Um, he comes with two head option, And even for the helmet head option, there's two separate face plates. So he has three different faces. Basically, you can put on him. One unhelmeted and two helmeted. Uh, so many options with this guy, and everything is made really well. Very good joint, move really really good. He is like Four Horsemen's Mythic Legion, but better. Like I hate to say this because I love Mythic Legion, but this guy is like how Mythic Legion should be, but not quite yet. So he well deserved the number two title of 2023. Before I reveal to you the number one champion of 2023, it's going to be a good one, a big one, right? Before we get there, let's look at a few runner-up figures that almost made it, but not quite. From Hasbro's Power Ranger line, we have the Tenga Warrior 2 pack, and they made it onto the honorable mention, mostly because I got these two of them. Keep in mind, two of these guys in one box. I got them for $28 Canadian. And what is that? That's like 24, $23 US. That's really cheap. And they go on sale really often. You can sometimes nab them for like 15 bucks, and you just can't lose out on these guys when they're discounted. At full price, they're like, I don't know, 38, 40 bucks maybe. Uh, it's a little bit expensive at full price, but these are really chunky, well constructed figures with several display options. They have different hand, different wing options. They come with a lightning effect, which I'm not using here. Honestly, I'm not too interested in Power Rangers, but I hunt down some of Power Rangers monsters to fill the demonic ranks for my fantasy display. And these guys, these bird-like warriors, definitely work really good on the shelf, especially with Animal Warriors of the Kingdom coming up. By the way, I did acquire Animal Warriors of the Kingdom figures in 2023, but I have not opened any of them, which is why they are not on this list. I'm sure if I opened them, they would be on this list, but they're not. Uh, so these guys, these Tenga warriors, these bird warriors, they would definitely fit in with things like that, like Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, or even your Masters of the Universe, Ninja Turtles, anywhere you need some scary looking, big, chunky bird enemy. These guys would be perfect. Also, from Hasbro's Power Ranger line, we have another honorable mention for the monster called Snizzard. Now, Snizzard wouldn't be on anyone's top 10 list, I don't think, because he's just kind of goofy, right? And uh, he seems too toy-ish, but I love this guy, like especially because I got him for 20 bucks. That's really cheap for such a big, chunky monster. And the design is so cool. Like he's just made entirely of snakes. It's like hundreds of snakes making up this big, I don't know, lizard, dinosaur kind of monster, and he's got a bow and arrow that fires a cobra at you, and he got like snakes poking out of different parts in his body. Like it's such a goofy thing, but it's such a fun design. I had this guy sitting on my desk for over a week before I finally put him on the shelf, and uh, it's fun to fiddle with. So even though he is, yeah, just not fancy enough, not cool enough, not well made enough to be on anyone's top 10 list, I think, especially if you can get him for $20, $25, maybe even cheaper than $20, this is a hell of a good toy. Our last honorable mention is none other than from the Super 7 Silverhawks line, the transformed Monstar figure, which squeaky. Anyway, been talking a lot. That's why. Mm. Maybe I'm coming to puberty. Anyway, uh, all these action figures probably triggering my puberty responses. Last week we saw this guy, and I mentioned he's one of the biggest action figure I have of this scale. Keep in mind, not the biggest action figure. I have some really big guys, but not counting dinosaurs, not counting dragons, like humanoid action figure. He is definitely one of the biggest. Uh, I think some people would be really surprised why he didn't make the top 10, why he only got an honorable mention. Well, there's two reasons. One, he's bloody expensive. He's like $80. I got him for 62, I believe. I got him for $62 at a discount, and even then, I'm not totally convinced that I'm happy with him, right? And this leads us to number two, reason number two. Okay, let's say there's three reasons. Number one is he's bloody expensive. Number two is he, yes, he comes with a lot of accessories, but most of it will ultimately end up in a Ziploc bag, right? He can't use most of the stuff he comes with at comfortably. Like a lot of those are alternate head, alternate hand, alternate energy effect, and stuff like that. So if you use one, you can't use the other. If you use the other, you can't use this one. Uh, like this laser beam, these star beams that come out of his eye, for example, it's cool, yes, but if you want to use his other head, then you can't use this. So this is only good with one head, and then these uh, fire effect. Let me see if I can on his elbow here. This fire effect on his elbow. If you use that, then you can't use the laser beam. If you use the laser beam, then that fire effect, you just have to go sit in the drawer somewhere, right? So he comes with a lot of stuff, but they are interchangeable. He can't use most of them at the same time. So that's number two. So you are getting a lot of stuff, but you're not going to get a lot of them on him at one time. Number three, and probably the biggest downer of this figure, is his articulation is crap. And this is not excusable for something that costs $80 and something that, it's his design is so easy to articulate. Like this guy's design is like a robotic, everything's square and angles. So it would be so easy to engineer really good articulation into this guy. If you ever seen the Star Wars C3PO or Star Wars uh, battle droid, how square they are and how Hasbro is able to get them engineered so they bend in all kind of weird ways. That's how this guy should be. Now some people will say that, "Well, yeah, but look at his big shoulder armor, and they obviously going to uh, mess with his articulation." Not really. There has been a lot of action figures, even on the top 10 list. We have seen action figure with a big shoulder armor, then they still can move their arm very well. This guy, however, he can't even lift his arm above his head without looking stupid, because his arm has to go way out before he can come up that high. Uh, and his elbow bend is laughable. So yes, it's a really cool looking figure. Comes with a lot of accessories, but uh, he can't use some of his weapons. He can't use the big gun he come with because he can't hold it convincingly. The bird, other than let him hold it in his hand, he had nowhere on him for the bird to perch. Well, it's not really a bird; it's like a bat. His his pet, whatever you want to call it. Uh, so there's just so much potential for this figure, but it's fall short. And when you consider that it's an $80 figure, it's just no, it's just not going to. I'll be honest, I had him on the top 10 list until I was getting the figures organized this morning, and I looked at him and I was like, no, no, he can't be on the top 10. It's just not going to work. So he got paired, he got taken from the top 10 list, and Slash from Ninja Turtle put in his spot. Now at last we come to number one figure, and I hope you guys have been eagerly waiting because this is a good one. Let's hope I don't break him on camera. Uh, Alexa, give me a drum roll. Alexa, give me a drum roll.
Okay.
From Maestro Union, we have from their Fury Planet series, Blade Master Wayne. Now, this guy deserves a whole episode all on his own. But let me say this. He came out in 2022, and because he's a $100 figure, I've been looking at him for all the way from 2022 to like October 2023 before I finally decide, whatever, F it, I have to get this guy. Like, you know, if just for nothing else, just for as a birthday gift for myself, because I literally wouldn't make sense for me to not have this guy. Look at him. He's a giant tiger warrior, and he's Chinese, and he's like super muscular. He's almost 9 inches tall. He looks like this guy's massive, right? He's a big, muscular tiger warrior, and he's Chinese. I should make him the mascot of this channel. In addition to just my personal taste, because a lot of this figure is just fits me. Uh, this guy comes with about 30, depending on how you count it, 30 to 33 different pieces of accessories that can be detached and attached to him. He comes with four sets of all different hands, from fist to martial art poses to two finger death punch to hand to grip his sword. He comes with two head options. The straw hat on his head. This well, straw and bamboo. This is beautiful, right? This is like so well made that it look realistic. Like the bamboo, the straw, all the details in this hat is awesome. Uh, He's wearing this soft, rubbery cape poncho thing. You can remove this. Um, I'm not going to sit here and remove everything from this guy for this video because that would take really long, and a lot of this I would have to use the hair dryer on him to warm up the joint. But look at this. He got these rings. These are removable too. He got these rings on his arm, like Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Ring. He got, I think, three of these on each arm, and his armor on his arms and his legs, they all come off. You can have him almost completely naked. Like the only thing that don't come off it would be his pants, but this belt, this skirt piece come off too. So you can have yourself a nearly naked tiger warrior. Uh, One thing I want to show you guys that the most impressive part of this figure is, let me take this off his back, this sword case that he carries around with him. Okay, it's beautiful. Like you got a dragon engraved in the center, and you have all the wood grain texture. It's sculpted. It's well painted with rusty hinges. The metal part, they look like they've been aged really well. Got handles on the side. These are articulated handles on the side. When he's not carrying this, look at this. This is what I talk about, like really well engineered action figure. When he's not carrying this, you can pop this knob inside the back of the case so you can sit flat on the ground. And why would you want this? What's so important? What's so cool about a sword case? Well, it wouldn't be a sword case without a sword, or in this case, two beautifully crafted swords inside the case, these swords like they got tiger head on their hilt, and they got rings attached to the spine, and each sword is like 7 inches long, maybe. They do come out. They do come out of the case. And what's the most impressive part about this case is the interior of the case are felted, so it this honestly feel like a miniature guitar case on the inside. This is what the inside of my guitar case feels like, right? That on like it's amazing that this comes with an action figure. That no, yes, it's a $100 figure, but when you get workmanship like this, an actual working sword case with felt lining on the inside and sword that can be stored beautifully, and the case itself is beautifully designed, and you can even let him carry this case on his back when you want to. Uh, yeah, there's just not much I can say beyond that to tell you that this is a hell of an action figure. Is he expensive? Yes, he is really expensive. Um, but is he worth it? Oh yeah, he's definitely worth it. Like this is one of those. This is the first time I've ever handled an action figure from Maestro Union. I never even heard of them before 2022, and the first two figures they made didn't interest me whatsoever because they were cool, but they were more modern. It's like a uh, Wild West, like a Western design werewolf and Western design uh, alligator guy. So they don't really interest me that much. But when they made Blade Master Wang here, like I said, Chinese Tiger Warrior, yeah, yeah, I was pretty convinced that I was going to say goodbye to $100 of my money. Put this straw hat back on his head, so if it rains, it's not going to get wet. Yeah, yeah, nice looking, nice looking Tiger Warrior. Um, some people say this kind of like what Shere Khan from Jungle Book would be if Shere Khan learned martial art and carry around two swords with him. And those two swords are not the only weapon on him. I'm going to show more of what he comes with uh, on his actual review in the future. But on his belt, there are things like this. Let's see if I can get this off. Uh, there's this drinking gourd, like a hulu, a Chinese hulu, that you can let him carry around on his belt. So I don't know if he keep wine or liqueur or just pineapple juice in there. So that's pretty cool that he has something like that. And there's also like a smoking pipe, a nice, well-made smoking pipe on his belt, and the three little throwing knife on his belt also. He also comes with a bag of tobacco for his smoking pipe. Like this guy come with so much stuff. It's ridiculous. Like $100 if you just give me this big Tiger Warrior and that beautifully made sword case and those two swords, I would have been happy. That would be fine. But to come with removable armor, removable cape, removable straw hat, removable drinking gourd, removable knives, and all that stuff. Yeah, I think this was $100 really well spent. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode, and I hope you guys enjoyed meeting Blade Master Wayne, and congratulate him to be our number one figure of 2023. Honestly, he almost didn't make it because I had him sitting inside his box, and I didn't want to take him out of the box because how much I was looking forward to this guy, and I kind of wanted to uh, enjoy dragging it out a little bit more. But since we were doing this video, I knew I had to make him number one on the list. So I spent the entire afternoon yesterday taking him out of the box and getting him familiarized with him and learn how to pose him and balance him and all that stuff. So hope you guys enjoy. We'll be back again tomorrow for now, Fitness Friday. For now, have a good night.